Hello, here's Movie Fanatic Nate stopping on by. This time I'm coming at you to do a little look at slash review the Aquarius Entertainment's playing card deck of A Nightmare on Elm Street playing cards here. I just recently did a review or look at the Friday 13th playing cards from Aquarius Entertainment. Now I'm obviously going to do a look and review of the Nightmare on Elm Street playing cards. Just like with the Friday 13th ones, these were gifted to me. I got these as a gift, and I'm not a card player, but I thought these would go well perfectly with the channel, so I thought we'll take a little bit of time to make a video about this, as well as the Friday 13th ones that you've already seen, or potentially seen, or you have the potential to see on this channel right now. It says on the back here, the top is English, "Dream of Freddy Krueger" with this official deck of A Nightmare on Elm Street playing cards by Aquarius Entertainment, or whatever the hell they call themselves. There's the top, side, other side, bottom. I'm not exactly sure when these cards came out. I'm not too sure they have a date on them. If they do, it might be Roman numerals, and not being Roman myself, I don't have to I don't know how to read it. So here's obviously the deck. We're gonna just go through these at a random pace here. These ones I must say are kind of, I think for the most part, I guess because there's not a lot of nightmare movies that I despise so much as like New Line versions of Jason movies. So these ones, I don't think there's really any cards that I'm going to sigh on, because I think for the majority of the these movies in this deck, obviously the remake, it's not obvious, but the remake is not included luckily in this deck. So there's really going to probably be no sighs from me, because unlike the deck of Jason cards, or Friday 13th slash Jason cards, there's really no parts from these cards that I don't like. Here, of course, the Joker being Nightmare on Elm, a scene of, or shot of, Robert Englund behind the scenes, kind of a publicity shot from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Dream Warriors. Second card is kind of the same thing, happens to be Joker as well, from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, the Dream Warriors. Here's a shot from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the Dream Child. But one other thing I want to say, a lot of those Jason or cards from the Friday 13th deck were really a lot of them are on the darker side, and I want to say, having looked at these ones before, that these ones are always, from what I remember, relatively bright and colorful. Here's an image of Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. I just like Freddy's Dead, like the movie. I think the colors are really great, and kind of takes Freddy out of, I mean, he's not serious or anything, but I don't know. I just think they got Freddy. I just really like Freddy's Dead. We'll leave it at that. So here's an image from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, the Dream Child. It's kind of cool. They're, the different makeups throughout the years. Here's an image from the original Nightmare on Elm Street. As I was saying, that makeup is really kind of cool too, and you can tell a little bit by his sleeve there that it's just the solid red versus striped sleeve. You can tell it's from the original first movie. But that's a cool image that I haven't seen that often. Here's an interesting image from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Looking at these cards does remind me of my childhood, and kind of makes me want to revisit the movies, to be honest. Nightmare on Elm Street movies aren't something that I really love too terribly much as an adult, but seeing these images kind of brings out the kid in me, and as I said, makes me want to revisit the movies. Here's an image from Nightmare on Elm Street, the original movie, from the beginning of the movie. Kind of behind the scenes photo. I don't think, another thing about this deck of Nightmare on Elm Street cards is I don't know if there's any screen grabs. In my opinion, on the Friday 13th deck, when they do screen grabs, it's kind of lazy, and the resolution and brightness can really suck. But this deck, as I already said, is much more colorful and bright. Here's an image. It's not of the stuntman or whoever they got to replace Robert Englund when they were doing the shoot of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. It's very clearly not Robert Englund. It's the shower scene, and this is a you never see him this clear in the movie, so this is obviously behind the scenes production photo thing. But that's kind of a cool image to have. Mr. Freddy would look like this in that one comic book scene in Nightmare on Elm Street 5, where he's kind of more buff or whatever. But here's Mr. Buff Freddy after he's on some roids. This is a picture that's just really kind of weird to me. It says Nightmare on Elm Street, so you know, this could be from, you know, it makes me wonder, this looks like production design from the remake, so it almost makes me wonder if this is some, you know, props or something from a set from the remake, reboot, because this doesn't look like anything that would have been on the set of the original movie, but this is just really weird to me. And as it's, you know, and of course it says A Nightmare on Elm Street. I guess it doesn't say that it's the original from the '84. It could be, maybe this is from the remake. I don't know, but I don't think there's any images of Freddy from the remake. So here's a card from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Dream Child when his arm is getting torn off or whatever. Once again, a very bright and colorful card. Now here's, you know, I'm not, yeah. I was going to say not the biggest fan of New Nightmare just because I was, you know, older by the time that movie came out, and it doesn't necessarily represent my childhood like the other ones, but I guess I mean, although New Nightmare is good, you know, seeing this image just reminds me of my late teens, and it's just not as fun as, you know, early teens or, you know, pre-teens from the other movies. But here's an image of... oh wow, does it say Nightmare on Elm Street 7? I think it says A Nightmare on Elm Street 7 on there. That's really weird. Freddy's... Then it's saying Freddy's New Nightmare? Okay, I didn't realize when I looked at the cards originally that they completely screwed up the title of the movie. That is not the title of the movie, as we all know, or may know, or whatever. That's funny, realizing it for the first time on camera. Here's an image of, you know, kind of a cool look for Freddy, in my opinion. An image of Freddy, or probably Jesse as Freddy. I mean, not that the guy wore the makeup, I'm just saying that in that movie, you know, Freddy possesses Jesse and whatever. But here's an image of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. It's kind of a cool look. And I do think, in retrospect, the idea of, you know, although it wasn't quote-unquote following the rules of set forth by the previous original movie, the idea for the sequel of him kind of, you know, morphing through physically Jesse and becoming physical in the physical real world was kind of a cool idea, to be honest. Something that, much like with, you know, Jason, or, you know, Friday the 13th Part 5, I think a lot of fans are as the years go on, cut Nightmare 2 more and more slack, and really tend to like it a lot more than, you know, maybe they did in the 80s or 90s. Here's an image from Freddy. It's almost like a behind-the-scenes picture where he's just taking a break. Hey, Robert, strike a pose. An image of Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. These are bugging me. There, perfect. Here's oh, okay, never mind. I stand corrected. There is an image, you know, some imagery in this deck of an era that I don't really like. It's Freddy versus Jason. Just not a big fan of that movie, so I guess there are a couple sides in this, you know, playing card deck review. Darn it. Here we go with an image that looks really creepy and nasty from the original, presumably Nightmare on Elm Street. How cool did he look in the original? And, you know, because of the way it was made, we don't really get to see how cool he looks because he's in the shadows often and stuff. But that's a really scary image right there, I must say. This is one of the first ones, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street 4 was the most recent Freddy movie on video when I got into Freddy movies. So this is one, actually the very first one I bought previously viewed from a video store, Mr. Movies, on VHS. It was part 4. So part 4 for me is kind of holds a special place because it was the most, you know, most recent one when I got into the series. So there's an image from Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. And another image from, you know, kind of pretty much the beginning of the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Just really looks cool. Gosh, you know, seeing these cards is just making me, yeah, see, this looks like, this is like probably imagery from the remake or the, you know, slash reboot or something. This isn't anything I don't think was in any of the other movies. So this might be remake slash reboot imagery or something like that. So here's an image from him getting poked from behind from the, whatchamacallit, the, whatever it's called, the carriage from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. An image, this one I had a poster of, you know, there's more to the picture than this, but I had a poster of this like in 88 or 89 from Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. And Dream Master, kind of a classic image of Freddy. This is a really cool one. I mean, how cool is that? Obviously behind the scenes picture, not a still. I mean, not a screen grab from the movie, but a behind the scenes image. And once again, we kind of get a really bright image to really look at Freddy's original makeup from the first movie. That's really cool. Image from Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. Dream Warriors before this is like when he's killing the kid who wants to be a wizard or whatever. It's saying Nightmare on Elm Street, and I'm kind of believing it because I think the sleeves are solid. It's a cool kind of haunting shadow look. Once again, a very bright card from A Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Dream Child. Dream Child is probably my least favorite of the, the first 6. I don't know. There's something about it that's just, I don't know. Oh, this is like a duplicate. Again, this is the double of Freddy, the guy that they thought Robert Shea thought he could replace Robert Englund with from Nightmare on Elm Street, probably early in the production from Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Here's an image which could be either 3 or 4. Oh, they screwed up. They're calling this card a Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm going to say that that's probably from part 3. They have the screaming faces on his chest, I think, from 3 and 4, but I'm going to say that that's from part 3. It's definitely not from the first movie, so they screwed up on that card. Way to go, guys. Image from, it's kind of similar to the other one where his arm's falling off from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Nightmare on Elm Street part 3, Dream Warriors. Probably like in the slum, when he meets up with that girl. In my dreams, I'm beautiful and bad. Look at that cool ass image from the original movie. How cool is that? I mean, we never see the makeup generally that bright. Almost looks like a ventriloquist dummy. It looks weird, don't it? Sigh. Here's an image from arguably, probably my least favorite movie featuring the original Freddy, Robert Englund, Freddy vs. Jason. That's him from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child. There's an image, a cool image from the original movie. Image from Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Child. It's like just behind the scenes and Robert's just waiting around for them to set up the next camera setup or something. Oh, this will make a great still for a magazine. Bored Freddy. See, now here again, it's just like the close-up of his chest earlier, and the card said the original movie. Well, this is just pulled back. Yeah, that one was definitely probably from 3. Here's a further away image where you can see Freddy and the chests of the souls of the children from Nightmare on Elm Street 3. That's kind of like a dumb picture of him from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. It's like they're talking behind the scenes in between takes or something. Okay, what do you want me to do here? This is a cool image, an image I really like from Freddy's Dead as well. Gosh, that movie's so much fun and so colorful and stuff. I really like Freddy's Dead. But obviously an image from Freddy's Dead. Here again, this is just so random and stupid. It's like they just put anything in the card and just, I don't know, it's stupid, isn't it? Here's a, image from Freddy's Dead, like, I can't hear you, Carlos, or whatever, the scene where he kills Carlos. I think that's the name of the kid with the hearing aid. That's a fun movie, ain't it? Here's an image of him that's said to be from, the makeup's kind of weird. I guess it could be from part 5. This is kind of a weird image. It almost doesn't look like it's from any of the movies, to be honest, but I'll take their word for it, and when they say it's from part 5, it almost looks like a Freddy double or something. It almost doesn't look like Robert Englund, but whatever. They're saying it's from 5. Yeah, that's definitely part 5 makeup. I know that for sure. Also because you can see he's posing with the what did I call that thing? The things you push, carriage, baby carriage. I think that's what it's called. Nightmare on Elm Street 5. Oh, this is a classic image. I had a folder, a school folder. I probably still do somewhere, of this image. I'm sure they love me putting school papers in this folder with this cover, but from Nightmare on Elm Street 4. Gosh, I hope I still have that folder. I must have got it at, I can't imagine Target selling that stuff. We probably got it at Target. Here we go. This is from Nightmare on Elm Street 7, Freddy's New Nightmare, apparently. Yay. This is really, really weird. This is really cool. It's almost like makeup that didn't make it into the movie or something. This is like a transition between, you know, what the hell's his name? I forgot his name. Jesse and Freddy from Nightmare on Elm Street 2. It's really cool. It's like Freddy's wearing like, I don't know what there, a frickin' button-down, you know, some kind of blue button-down shirt. I don't know if this image is even in the movie. If it is, it's very, very dark and backlit, but this is really cool image of like Jesse physically transforming into Jesse. It's probably Robert Englund, I would imagine, under the makeup, but it's really kind of cool. Almost makes you wish they would have done more stuff like this in the franchise. I really think, the more I think about part 2, that, you know, of course they after the movie they were really, you know, ripped on for just not following the formula of the first movie. But in a lot of ways, I think what they did in part 2 was kind of new and you know, creative, really, and a new, fresh take. Nightmare on Elm Street 5 and the little, whatever the hell it is, pool, sewer thing. There you go. Another image of pretty much almost maybe the same location from Nightmare on Elm Street 5. You know, when I see images of 5, I'm just, I don't know. I guess I don't really like that movie too much. Here's when Freddy got his own glove shoved into his stomach by what the hell's the name of that chick who played that sexy chick from Freddy's Dead Final Nightmare. She's someone's sister, a guy from Titanic, but there's an image of that. Image from Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. You can tell by the lighting that it's like him in hell, and it's got the guy tongue-tied or whatever. No, not hell, but I mean in that red area. So here's the end of Nightmare on Elm Street 2, where Freddy Jesse is like morphing back, and he's defeated, and he's morphing back into Jesse, and he's like, ah! It's like prosthetic head, whereas, you know, the freaking flesh is starting to peel off his face. It's funny how just images from certain movies, like, you know, some of the original ones, because the first Freddy movies I saw were part 1 and 2. I taped them off TV, and when every time I see an image from 1 or 2 or something like that, just this fondness of, you know, wanting to rewatch a movie when I see these images just comes to mind, you know. And of course the exact opposite when I see a card from Freddy vs. Jason. So here's a Nightmare on Elm Street. This is a really cool picture, again, kind of backlit and just phantom-y. The images from the original movie in this deck are really, really cool, and I don't think I've really ever seen a lot of them before. And here's a really boring, I mean, this is kind of cool, I guess. Just a generic Elm Street sign with a kind of a Freddy Christmas sweater in the background. Once again, this is like from the black and white kind of scene of the hero scene. When that scene from Freddy in Nightmare on Elm Street 5 is really cool, where he turns into Super Freddy or faster than a bastard maniac. That's, you know, the movie as a whole isn't that great, but it has some really cool scenes, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I just don't like the baby aspect of it. Nightmare on Elm Street 5. And the last card of the deck. This is just, like I say, this is just generic. I don't know what this is even from. Ice cream. I don't know what the old-fashioned ice cream. I don't know what the hell this is about. But here's the last card of the deck of Nightmare on Elm Street playing cards from, what did I say, Aquarius? That's my little look at the playing cards of Nightmare on Elm Street from Aquarius. Thank you very much for watching this video, and as always, we'll catch you on the next one.